It is Sky here to talk with y'all and react a little bit about the state of Destiny. If you haven't already been paying attention to the channel, we put out a couple videos, insert thumbnails here, about the community and our kind of thoughts on what's going on right now, especially in the wake of Bungie announcing Marathon the game, and then also just a lot of things that have been going on with Destiny. Again, we have slightly controversial titles, if you want to call them controversial, but again, they're meant to like draw you in because the content really is about like trying to like see all sides of the story in terms of what's going on with the community right now. So for me, this is kind of adding into that lineage. Again, we're not a react channel, but again, I do think because of everything that's going on in the community, it's really important to kind of weigh in. And what we're going to do today is hear a little bit about GernaderJake. GernaderJake is a content creator specifically focusing on PvP with specific focus on trials, and so it does like a lot of trials carries and trials helps, and is really really big, has a lot of like has a very large community, but then also like he has a very unique perspective. And again, while we're reacting today, as our channel is mainly focused on PvE and we do have that analysis and that expertise, he does more of the PvP and has more refined analysis on the state of Destiny from that perspective. And so reacting today based on his recent video called "I'm moving on from just Destiny 2," talking about the future. And so we want to talk a little bit about what he discusses here, and then also how that is a little bit applicable to the change that we are going to be making. Let's go ahead and jump in.
That some of y'all will be like, thank God, and some of y'all will be like, ah. There's gonna be mixed emotions with that sentence, but I am not quitting Destiny. I am still very ingrained in the Destiny community. I'm very ingrained in the Trials community. And to be totally honest with y'all, I don't know if everyone will agree with this concept, but I feel like I owe it to people in my chat to keep playing Trials. And what I mean by that is I have a carrot currency that is so ingrained in the stream that it would be a little bit almost fucked up. Like, it's still my decision. I could quit if I want to quit. It's still my decision, but it'd be a little bit fucked up for me to be like, chat, hang out in the stream, earn carrots. One day you can guarantee an auction. And then like people start doing that for months and months and months. And I'm like, haha, I just quit forever. Like, that would be a little bit problematic. So
And yeah, just to kind of start off in terms of what Jake is saying here, in the intro is just like, with everything that's going on, a number of creators, just as context, have also kind of named a very similar attention of just like, it's not necessarily impossible, but it's very difficult for various reasons. And his reason talking about like the commitment that he has to his community for a number of reasons. The Destiny 2 community, like Destiny 2 viewers on like Twitch, YouTube, they really don't like their creators doing other games. Like, there are people who have hundreds, if not thousands, of viewers on Destiny, but then they do a variety day and play whatever, play COD, play Among Us, play Apex or whatever, and their viewership drops significantly. Like, someone who was pulling in like 200, 300 viewers for Destiny is now only like pulling in like 30 or 40 viewers playing Apex. And it feels kind of punishing in a sense. I think on our frame of reference, we felt it, not to the scale that GernaderJake and other large creators have felt it, but definitely felt it, the squeeze, in terms of like when we've tried to do content, especially an example of our content around Scattered Thoughts. I really like Scattered Thoughts, and it was something that like kind of just came out organically out of the content that we are already making, and like really like adding that to the roster, and to this day still doing it. Like, we've done weekly episodes for like 26, 27 weeks, right? So like 26, 27 weeks consistently putting out that content, where some weeks it does well, some weeks it doesn't, but people really don't like that or don't engage with that content as much as they engage with like our guides and our walkthroughs and some of our video essays and other things. So it's like one of those things where it's just like, people like what they like and they don't what they don't. And for the Destiny 2 community, it's very challenging to be in a spot where, like, for creators, especially larger creators, there's like a really real, well it's like whether it's malicious or not, there's a very real like tension that comes with like switching to something that's not Destiny 2. And again, I know it's not Destiny 2, that's the only community that does this, but switching to something that's not Destiny 2 and then trying to like bring your community with you is a challenge. And so GernaderJake is essentially just saying that like he didn't want to like fully up and leave Destiny, um, for that reason, but also like feeling the tension and the pressure around, just being here.
I think a lot of people know that Destiny has not necessarily been the most fun thing at a lot of times over the last couple years. So we've
Yeah,
really
Destiny is
suffered
just
through a
like,
lot of rough trials
and I
metas.
think that's one of the things that like a lot of people, it's always interesting when the Destiny community itself actually unites because we don't unite as a community over a lot of the same things. And I think being in a space where like it's really wild to see how like PvPers, PvEers, like all different sides of the community are coming to a place saying like, yeah, Destiny is not in a good spot. Outside of like the outliers who are like just try hard, die hard, Bungie can do no wrong, which again, you're just really not going to change those people's minds for whatever reason. They just have that deep attachment to Bungie. You have people who are super dedicated, like GernaderJake and others who have created a lot of content over the years, consistently content over the years. And it's just the reward of playing a game that's broken, that has server instability, that has cheaters. It just the reward, it just isn't there like it used to be.
But have just fully committed anyway. And I think people were excited by the fact that I might be willing to diversify a little bit. So not quitting Destiny, I'd still say Destiny at least 50% of the time, because Trials is still going to be out most weekends and I'm still going to want to play Trials every day. But I might not play for 10, 11, 12 hours like I used to. I could absolutely foresee a world in where I stream 5 or 6 hours of Trials and then I swap to a different game for the second half of the stream, which could be so healthy. Imagine 1 p.m. rolls by, we've been doing carries for 6 hours, I'm starting to get frustrated, and instead of being like, we still got 6 more hours of this, I go and hop on a different game. Or during Iron Banner weeks, hi, welcome, it's an Iron Banner week where there's no trials. Imagine we just don't even touch Destiny the whole week. I'm committing to not playing Destiny a single second this entire week of streaming. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, this game is not getting launched. Not a single time. And that's going to be the first time I've done that since May 2019.
So what GernaderJake is talking about here, I don't know why I'm saying like his full name, but what Jake is talking about here is like really huge, and what's something that I really resonate as someone who just like, we recently came out with not recently, but like 3-4 weeks ago, we came out with our season 21 roadmap in terms of like what content will look like in terms of what we're going to push out for the YouTube side of the channel this season. And so being in a space where like even I've had to adjust that content roadmap in the past couple of weeks of just like, I'm not going to be streaming as much. I'm not also not going to be streaming as long in terms of like, Destiny is building up such a frustration for me at this point where like I want to have fun. I want a game. I want to enjoy myself. I want to have fun with friends. I want to like help people, although we're not like an officially like a server stream. I want to be able to do these things that are like community driven, and being in a space where like I just don't even feel like I can do that given the fact that like the state of the game is so bad. And so, doing what's healthy for me is like, now we're only using our Twitch page for variety content. Now, we're being in a space where we're not streaming as much, because those are things that, again, at our level, we're definitely a smaller creator compared to Jake, but also like resonating with the fact of just like, he understands the state of the game, and also, understands that he really just can't up and abandon his community. And again, I wouldn't abandon you all in the same way, but also like something has to give. And if Bungie's not going to listen to the community, if Bungie's not going to shift the way that they're approaching the community, if they can't even be more transparent about what's happening with the servers, again, Bungie, we're not asking for your social security number. We're asking you to be a little bit more transparent about what's going on. If they can't even do that when there are Diablo is being very transparent about what's happening with their servers the couple times where they've had instability. EA with Jedi Survivor, like there's so many examples of companies. It's like not out of the norm to be transparent about when your company is having issues, and Bungie just doubling down on just not being transparent is really harming them in the short term, but I promise you it's going to come to bite them in the butt down the road.
I have been that dedicated to Destiny that I have not done that in over 4 years. This is such an important moment in my career, because my career is not a 8-year career. I'm hoping to continue to stream for a long time, and Destiny 2 is not going to be Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. It's not going to be the game forever.
And I think, just really quick, I think that's like a really key point, and something that I maybe didn't like emphasize enough earlier, but Jake is such a huge creator. Again, there's a lot of folks who are like really big on the PvP side of the game, but like not only does he have a deep knowledge of the game, which I can always respect, even if I don't agree with someone, not saying I don't agree with Jake here, but like, even if I don't agree with someone or align with someone, I can always appreciate where they actually have genuine, like, they put in effort and skill. And so, as someone who, speaking about Jake, who not only has like direct experience and deep knowledge of the game on the PvP side, but also has dedicated so much time to playing the game, even if you see in the corner right here, I don't think it's the highest resolution, but it's just like, what's that, like 7,000 plus hours? So you're not talking about someone who just downloaded the game. You're talking about someone who's committed significant amount of resources, time, and energy to not only crafting his community, but also like around this game. And again, everyone, no one's, I mean, there might be a couple outliers who are naive, but most folks who are in this content creation space around Destiny 2 aren't like naive that Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 and the Destiny franchise is going to be forever. Yes, it's a live service game. Yes, they've had success, but again, Destiny isn't going to be around forever. That's just not feasible. And so being in a spot where like you have to, especially in a moment like this, you have to be considering other options. And we have examples where there's another creator who maybe like newer Destiny players don't know or aren't as familiar with, but Mtash used to be really big in the Destiny 2 creator space. But again, Mtash reached his point, I don't want to call it a breaking point, but he reached his point with the community and the way the things that Bungie was handling situations as someone who had been invited to again, I don't know all the lore behind Mtash, but I do know that he was one of the people that had been invited to previous summits and was able to like face to face give Bungie senior leaders like direct feedback on like, hey, this is how you improve the state of the game, was providing critique and offering solutions and being in a space where like when he saw there was a trend of Bungie like years ago, just like not really listening to the community, he took his community and left. And again, I believe he still like plays from time to time, but like he's playing like what he's like playing like Genshin right now or something. Like he took his community and started over, and that's really scary. As like again, we're not in that position currently of like only being content creation as like a job, but someone who's like livelihood, like paying the bills, having drinking water and lights to turn on, depends on you being able to have content. When you have such a diehard community like the Destiny 2 community, who really don't budge on watching anything other than Destiny 2, and then you're just like deuces and you peace out on the game and you try and bring your community to another game, that's super hard. And again, I don't know all the details, but I can imagine that was just a very rough transition. And also just like the consequences, or if we want to call it consequences, but the kind of like wave of what happened in the aftermath is that I just don't see his name come up in the directory as much. Like I just don't see, his stuff get recommended on YouTube as much. And so, the things that happen when you like make a shift like that. But again, if you're in a healthier mindset, if you're in a healthier relationship with the game and with your work-life balance, in this case, full-time content creators, if you're in a healthier balance, then like good for you, because ultimately like these games aren't forever. You being able to have like integrity, have your sanity, have your morals is more important than being dedicated to a game and a company that like really isn't respecting your time like they could be.
Right? In order for me to continue to be a successful streamer, I have to be able to demonstrate my ability to play games with an audience outside of one game alone. And we've kind of tested the waters here and there and have proven that that's possible. But to really give it a test and spend a full week doing nothing related to Destiny will be a scary thing, but it will also be a very exciting thing. I'm excited for it because it's sort of like I'm breaking free and liberating myself from the chains that are Destiny 2 and allowing myself to explore other worlds. I want to talk
And again, one big thing and that I really want to nail down is just like getting the opportunity to create. I really, for me, there's a lot of that what you just said resonates, because it's like the freedom to create what you want to create and exist in a realm where you're like just you're just like living in the moment. You're able to like exist in that flow of like doing things that you enjoy. Like people, like not everybody, but most people aren't getting into content creation because like they're trying to go super corporate and get a deal and do XYZ commercial with like McDonald's or whatever. Some people are, they're just like they're in it for the quick cash and they want to, figure out the quickest way to get to a corporatized sponsorship deal and then live off that. But a lot of folks are in it because they actually like love the like pure essence of creativity and being a space where like, um, what Jake is saying, like not only being able to demonstrate that you have skill and can bring your community across multiple games, but also just genuinely doing things that you enjoy. I think it's so important. I think that's why, like, for someone of his caliber to be like, hey, I've reached my limit and it's time for me to move on to something different. It's time for me to try a different path. Even if it's not fully like getting rid of Destiny 2, the fact that like it still means you're drastically shifting your time, that means a lot, especially with his following, and the folks again, not always being in his streams, but I have attended his streams and being in a space where like people, the people are dedicated. People are dedicated to the community, and it goes beyond just folks like being in chat to potentially win a raffle and get a trials help to get flawless, but also like people enjoy their time there, right? They find the entertainment, they find the enjoyment of being there, and for someone of that caliber and influence in the community be like deuces, not fully deuces, but to be like, I'm shifting gears. For me, Bungie execs, senior leadership need to be, they need to be ringing bells. They need to be having meetings. They need to be having conversations because this definitely is going to have an impact.
When a streamer is diving into the concept of variety, they're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it for you. And that might be shitty to hear at first. You might be thinking like, well, what the fuck? Like, I want to be enjoying this content. But the purpose of even doing variety is to re-spark that passion for gaming in me, in the streamer. And if the streamer themselves has that passion for gaming and is loving what they're doing, that will bleed through to their stream. And then the stream will be a more engaging and fun place for people.
And if I can like double down on this, I think that is so true. Like for folks who have been hanging out for the variety streams we've been doing on Twitch, again, we keep all of our Destiny 2 content and our Bungie content on the YouTube channel. But for folks who joined us on Twitch, I don't know if y'all like can tell, but I can tell within me when I watch my VODs back, but I am so much more like energized, like it's not just like the, like the scene or the game or that, we're playing different music, but I feel so much more energized when I'm in a space where it's just like, even like Lies of P, we're playing the Lies of P demo and being in a space where like, that's my first Souls like game. I was terrible at it. It was super frustrating, but I was having a blast because like, the few of us who were in the stream at the time just like were able to have really cool conversations. It was a different change of pace with the type of games, and also just being in a space where it's just like that passion for gaming, that passion for like solving riddles and solving puzzles and figuring out different strategies and thinking about build crafting in a different setting other than Destiny 2. All that just like, oh, just like my brain was so moist, like it just all the synapses were firing. It was just like really fun for me, and it's been fun for me in terms of like we have our scheduled Destiny 2 streams for the YouTube channel, which we still do, and we're being consistent with that. But the times I get to like break away and actually do other games, whether it's been Apex, again, there's been a lot of games, but Apex, Jedi Survivor, Biomutant, Stray, Call of Duty. I'm trying to think of all the games. There's been so many games, right? Farlight 84. Like, there's been so many different games where it's just like just being able to like experience different gameplay loops, all that like just activates my brain in such a really beautiful way. And I can't go back. I want to have fun with gaming. I want to have fun with content creation, and that's also part of the journey of learning what you will and won't compromise for. And I found out recently, especially with all this that's going on with Bungie, and I've been shifting my mindset to other games, I'm not willing to compromise not having fun in a game. I need to have fun in a game. I need to be able to enjoy this game with friends and family and community members, and I'm just not willing to compromise that.
So if we're talking about Zelda and Diablo and Borderlands and God of War and Fortnite and all these different games I might be testing out over the next couple of months, there's going to be games I mentioned that some of y'all are like, please understand the idea behind it and where it comes from. I want to get into like where we are in Destiny's world and in Bungie's world and kind of talk about why I'm making this decision. Because let's be totally honest here for a second. Like, let's just lay all the cards on the table. Full transparency. Like, not going to hide anything from you realistically. I have an amazing opportunity to continue to make a lot of money if I just keep playing Destiny. I've been playing Destiny for a long time. I've built a huge following in Destiny. Even if I was getting stream sniped and cheated on and was a disaster. If I just stay in the Destiny directory and pour 12 hours a day into it, I'm going to make a lot of money. And it's hard to not want to do that.
And I feel like this is like a really point, and I'm gonna let the rest of this play so Jake can finish the point. But I think that is so key. Again, going to like me coming out with like a statement about like me shifting only does so much, and it like has impact in our immediate community. But like someone at the level of like any time that like you go on Twitch and it's like a trials weekend, look at the Twitch directory, look at who's at the top. And obviously there's other PvP creators, again, not like necessarily like discounting their work that they put in, but like Jake is consistently at the top of the directory whenever it's a trials weekend. And to know that he has literal thousands of people watching him in his chat, actively in the chat. We're not talking about like people like silently like watching, like people are active in his chat. There's all different kinds of commands and things that he does. Has a really engaging stream. Again, I don't always get to catch it because I'm either creating content myself or I'm like, I'm modding for a friend stream. I play a lot of different roles in the community, but like the streams where he's in there, like he's really engaged with the community. And to see someone at that level who literally does pour like 10, 11, 12 hours a time into this game, them shifting in a way where it's just like he understands very clearly that if he just wanted to go with the status quo, then yeah, like he could just like sit there and stream, the norm, not enjoy it, but sit there and probably still be successful for the lifespan of trials and Destiny and the franchise and wherever it goes, especially, post marathon. But like being in a space where like he knows that and still is just like, I gotta shift something.
Today, we're doing great. Y'all are supporting me so much, and I love that. But realistically, let's say I committed to playing other games for a full month. Each day, we're probably going to lose some of those subs, some of those viewers, some of those hype. Today, it doesn't look like it. But as somebody who's been doing this for 8 years, I recognize that it's easy for an announcement like this to generate excitement. And that excitement can bleed off over time. And who knows what this looks like in a month. I hope that if I did just play other games for a month, which I'm not planning to do, I'm still going to play Destiny. But if I did just quit Destiny altogether, I would hope that this kind of community would continue to exist. But there's no guarantee of that at all. It could keep chipping away every day as I stray away. So the idea of stepping away from Destiny is a very financially scary decision. But the reason I feel like it's really important is because I have lost the spark that I once had in Destiny.
And that's where like, yeah, I just want to pause because like absolutely samesies, because like the spark that I've had for Destiny for so long. And again, I've seen over the years people kind of like burn out on Destiny. I sympathize with it, but I couldn't empathize because I just couldn't compute like how would you not love this game? Like I used to be one of those people who was like, Bungie is perfect. And again, this was before I was creating content, but like I really, even though I may never have said it out loud, I was just like, yeah, Bungie can do no wrong. Like these DLCs slap, these seasons slap, the soundtrack slaps, all the different things. I used to be one of those people. So like for those people who are still in the outliers, I empathize to a degree because like I can have enough integrity and honesty to say that I used to be one of those people, with previous like iterations of like enjoying the game, being in a space where it's like I came into the game. It was, again, one of these days I'll just create the video, but like I didn't have the greatest experience when I first came to the community. I unfortunately encountered a very toxic side of the community, and so it almost drove me away from the game. But then I found some really cool people who were actually like cool people and like like showed me that there are other people in the game and it wasn't just like super toxic. And to have that connection point, like feeling very deeply, some of those people I still know, even though if we don't necessarily game every day, I still get to be connected to those people. And being in a space where it's just like there was a spark there that just lasted, because I was like, yes, friendship is the true end game. I've met some really dope people that I can consider friends, not just like acquaintances, friends. And being in a space where like that creates kind of like a mental bond with this company and with this game, and kind of like having the, starry-eyed glaze, or whatever the phrase is, but like you're just the starry-eyed look at this company. But then like as time goes on and you mature and you kind of look at different perspectives and you get more information, your analysis shifts, and being a spot where like I feel like I've lost the spark. Do I enjoy coming in here and talking with all of y'all, whether it's Sin, Slade, Femi, like all the people who come in here and we're Nini, we're able to like come in here and game and have a good time. Absolutely. I love that. Like that, the spark is still there for that. But like just coming in here and not being with homies and not being with friends and just like trying to play the game is so rough because I just don't have it in there. Even like moments like early on stream today, before we started to do this reaction video, we were talking about the narrative storyline for the last week of the seasonal story, and like it's decent. It's actually hella decent. We're talking about like a 7, 8 out of 10. Like it's a solid story. But because Bungie's been treating the community so poorly and just ignoring us and just not having a lot of integrity right now, it really sours the overall experience. And for me, to this point, it really sours the spark where it's just like, I would love to sit here and say that I'm excited about the story and the things that we've learned. And there's been a lot of Easter eggs and also a lot of like really big reveals. But like those moments don't outshine the negativity that the community has been feeling from Bungie. And that takes its toll and dulls the spark that you can have for a game like this.
Probably there's a lot of people wondering, how the hell did it take this long? People lost that spark so long ago. I've had so many people tell me in chat, in DMs, face to face, I don't know how you do it. How do you stay in trials for 40 to 50 hours every week through every meta for 3.5 years now? I don't know how you do it. And to be completely honest with you, I've actually enjoyed 80 to 90% of it. The whole trials raffle thing where I bring raffle auction thing where I bring in a new viewer via raffle, bring in a new viewer via an auction, and then I have that goal of trying to get them flawless, and everybody in chat can follow that goal. It's such an easy thing for me to stream because it keeps me entertained. It keeps the chat entertained. It's such a well-oiled machine that realistically, it's kind of easy to do. When you do variety, you've got to decide, all right, I got to try this game, that game, that game. You got to kind of schedule it. You got to try to learn these games, which is difficult to do. Whereas that was like an well-oiled machine I kind of created that was super easy to keep going.
And I think that's really like key is just like really hitting the point home. He does not have to like someone as successful as him, someone with a following that he does. He literally, for the rest of Destiny's life cycle, does not have to change the model that he currently has been using in terms of the engagement in chat, in terms of the people who show up. Literally, like when you're just easily just click go live and thousands of people are there, eager to like engage with each other, like other community members in chat, but also engage with him and then doing the raffles. Like, why would you actually shift away from that when it's literally, kind of to frame it as like easy money? Why would you shift away from that process to go to something that's more challenging, like variety content, where like you're gonna do like maybe a Horizon Forbidden West stream and maybe a lot of people join, but then maybe you do a God of War stream and people are like not there and it's crickets, right? And so as someone again who's not in Jake's position, because Jake is full-time content creator, it depends on this to actually like pay his bills and support, his loved ones and the people that he supports. Making a shift like that, potentially, even if people are excited right now, which you kind of said earlier, even if people are excited in the meantime, and again, it's similar but not same, where I feel like after I made the announcement of my being YouTube partner, saw subscribers go up, got more followers on Twitter. Like there's a lot of like energy that we had for like those 2 weeks, I would say. I even saw like more views on some of my recent videos, and I really appreciate that, and that's great. And people always, for the most part, people love good news. But like also it's dwindled over time where it's just like we're kind of back to the same crew of folks, which is fine. I love y'all. There's no downsides to that. But where there's like people and there's like new people coming into streams, it was like a really good time where like I always appreciate the support however folks show up, but also like that phenomena of like the roller coaster, the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys is like really real. Is like when there are like certain moments, whether it's like a partnerversary or like there's a certain celebration, like you'll see like people get re-engaged and come in. It's like a birthday stream, and that's all, all those moments. Not really talking about each of those specific instances, but the moments, talking about the larger thing are great. But also, over time, to no one's fault. People have life, people have kids. For people get disinterested. It dwindles off, and it's just such a big risk to be in a space where it's just like, even at my level, even though I don't fully depend on content creation in this moment, um, full time as like paid gig, that's not my core source of income. Being in a space where like I would love to have the opportunity to do that maybe like down the road, and making a shift from like this game with such a dedicated base that really doesn't budge to other games. Even people who were like typically like hundreds or thousands of people in their streams for Destiny 2 and are sick of Destiny 2 right now and are playing Diablo, they're not pulling in the same numbers, right? They're building like new members from like the Diablo scene, but like Destiny 2 players really aren't converting over. And it does have an impact.
They're excited for me to break away from the chains that are streaming Trials of Osiris relentlessly with no objections. Like, people are excited. And I know that there's some people who aren't commenting and aren't here in the stream today who are frustrated because there's some really loyal Destiny fans, really loyal, who are like, he's not going to keep streaming Destiny only, like, this guy. Like, genuinely, there are people like that.
And it's true. That's not an exaggeration. There are people like that in the community who are doing like, if you're not streaming Destiny, whether you're like a service streamer or not, right? And Jake is a service streamer, mainly for PvP and trials. But like, even if you're not like a service streamer, like people will legitimately like, even if you take a be right back stream, a scene like too long, is like, hey, I need to go like grab something to eat, I'm about to pass out, people will leave. And again, it's not the majority, but there are those diehard viewers like that, whether it's just general viewers or in particular Destiny 2 community. And so like this is a big change, and like knowing that Jake has such an influence and is not the only person making this shift, yeah, it's a lot, y'all. I know I keep saying that, but it stands out, especially to someone like me who's on the PvE side of the game, and a lot of folks don't always, from both sides of the game, really don't always like communicate or really view each other's content. I'm just one of those people who likes to view all content from all sides of the game, and knowing that there's this shift that's happening with PvP creators and PvE creators, yeah, Bungie should be worried.
I am overwhelmed by the amount of people who are in the other side of it, who are saying, good for you, we'll be here whatever you play, we're excited for this next step. It's so cool. It's terrifying because I'm not a variety gamer, and stepping out of your comfort zone is not a fun, or not an easy thing to do. But it is so exciting to have the Jungle Squad behind my back, supporting me and pushing me, realistically pushing me, like straight up urging me to do that. Encouraging me to do this. It's so cool. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. I'm going to try to start reading chat a little bit better because I've been in like rant mode and not reading chat. I want to answer questions and try to talk through things I might have missed because I just spoke for 25 straight minutes without.
So Jake kind of ends up there and then goes into some questions, which we won't cover in the moment, because I think you all get the kind of gist of what's going on. But yeah, like shout out to Jake. Shout out to anyone who is. It's not even necessarily like about getting liberated from Bungie. Bungie's a corporate company. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? Like they're not this independent company that everyone wants to like cape for. They're not. They've literal billions of dollars. They monetize like literally 90% of the game. They're not broke. They're not hurting for money. They may spend a lot of money on like different ventures and working on different games, but they're not broke. And I really feel like this is one of those moments where you have to wake up and stop treating Bungie like they're broke, like they're just this small company. They're not a small company. And each week they're becoming more and more corporatized, less about, being driven and listening actively to the community, and being in a space where you have creators at this level who, have a following, who are building strong communities, and who are saying that, like, I'm making a shift because, at the end of the day, if this is your, especially as full-time folks who are full-time content creators, if this is your sole, if not primary source of income, and the game is dwindling, literally, even this week, on Tuesday, we said the biggest, day for Destiny 2 gaming. Also, it's one of the most, pivotal days in terms of our storyline so far, in terms of the cutscene that we got for this being the final week of the story. We're barely cracking 10,000 people viewing Whereas normally there could be 30, 40, 60, 70, 80,000 people viewing, if not more, on Twitch specifically, viewing content at a time. We're barely cracking 10,000 people. I don't even think it cracked 10,000 viewers on Twitch. Not to mention last week, and there was a content creator who captured a screenshot of it, they could barely hold 3,500 viewers. They could barely capture that. Specifically on Twitch, there are 6 million people who follow the Destiny loop gameplay or whatever, right? They follow that footage. So there are 6 million people who get the notification or get the little directory index when people are streaming Destiny 2. And to note that you could last week barely pull in 3,500 people of the 6 million. Obviously, 6 million people aren't all on at all times, but you could barely pull in that. And then this week, you barely pull in 10,000. Like on the peak day, on the day with like the juiciest storyline content that we've had in a while, it says something. And then you have content creators like this who are leaving or fully leaving, or in Jake's case, partially leaving and doing variety content. It says a lot. And for me, I just continue to not see Bungie taking this seriously. And again, if you want to, from their perspective, if they just want to sit on their high horses and do what they keep doing and thinking that's going to work out for them in the long term, you can. But my money is that it's not, and it's going to backfire. It's going to blow up in their faces. And ultimately, when you've lost your reputation, I said this in one of my recent videos, when you lose your reputation with your community, there's like, what was it? Like New York Times has come out with an article. Don't quote me on that, but it was like a big magazine has come out with articles. There's like gamer magazines who've come out with articles. Like people are noticing how poorly Bungie is handling this current situation. And once your reputation is gone, you're basically done for. And so regardless of how well Marathon and other titles that they're working on do, this is having a detrimental impact on their brand. And until they make right by the community, until they make right by folks like Jake and myself who have committed a significant amount of time, resources, and energy into this game, into building community, into like creating content, into like, again, and creating content helps further the brand. People who have committed such level of effort and just not being respected, yeah, it's all bad. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. Would definitely love to hear from folks in the comment section, or things that like folks are like resonating or didn't resonate. But yeah, this is just my live reaction. I know we skipped around a bit for those who are following along, but just really wanted to hit the points in terms of like where I see Jake and the movement, and appreciate the transparency he had offered in his space, but also like seeing the parallels that like I'm reaching a similar point. Like I am fully anticipating that the August showcase is going to blow everyone out of the water. Like you literally can't name the last time Bungie had a terrible teaser trailer or a terrible hype trailer. They are great at making those things. So like I fully anticipate they're going to come out in the August showcase. They're going to be like, this is the final shape, K86, cool stuff, boom, boom, or whatever, whatever else they're going to show us. And people are going to get hype. People are going to insta forget that Bungie has been terrible to us over the past months and years, and buy themselves some grace period and some goodwill. But ultimately, if they're not fixing the core of how they engage with the community, if they're not fixing the game itself, if they're actually not like trying to be transparent and honest and have integrity with the way they communicate, it's not going to go well, and the game's just going to continue to go on a downward path. And so that's where I stand with it. But again, if you feel differently, if you're like one of those like Bungie can do no wrong people, let me know in the comments. Let me know what I'm missing, because like I truly just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel with where this is going. And for me, I've lost the spark to play Destiny 2 for hours on end. I'd rather just spend that time creating content for other games. I'd rather spend that time modding for my friends who are streamers. I'd rather spend that time in 101 different ways than spend it on a game that doesn't value my time, energy, and commitment. And ultimately, it's coming from a company that is not listening to the community that got it to the place that it's in right now. The community got Bungie to where it is right now, where they can get a 3.6 billion acquisition from Sony. The community did that, not Bungie. And let me be very clear, maybe that sounds like off-putting to some people. I don't care. The community did that. Bungie did not do that alone. And for that commitment and energy and time to not be respected, and for us to be in a space where we're continually not being listened to, I'm not sitting here saying that Bungie has to, like, every time someone has a complaint, like Bungie just shifts immediately. But when you're seeing like all sides of the game come together and say, like, this is really messed up, this doesn't feel good, and Bungie still can't even come out in a weekly blog and say, like, hey, we'll do better, that feels incredibly bad. And yeah, I'm tired and I'm going to play other games and I'm going to go to where the spark is with me. And I'm hopefully, you all are invited to come along with me in that journey. Uh, Starfield, really excited about Starfield. Starfield is dropping in September. Recently played Jedi Survivor. Like we played God of War before. Like there's so many things where it's like I'm gonna continue to do my best to build community and bring y'all with me and just have a space that y'all would enjoy. We'll still cover, Destiny 2, we'll still do the things, we'll log in, do like the weekly missions. But like I just really don't see us committing as much time and energy to a game, to a company that just doesn't respect us anymore. And again, we're not as big as Jake and other creators who have made this shift, but as we continue to grow our small but mighty community, I'm really excited to bring y'all with me in my adventures, because gaming is such a portal to like so many great things, to self-awareness, to like learning about yourselves, like gaining new skills, figuring out how to be a better communicator. There's so many different things that you get from gaming, and I just can't waste my time and that potential for gaining those experiences in a space that just won't allow me to have fun, and won't allow me to have fun with you all, won't allow me to grow, and just overall just not a great place to be. So let me know in the comments what you think. Am I totally off base? Do you totally agree? And yeah, let's get into some conversations. And as usual, looking forward to seeing y'all Starside. Peace.